Hello everyone, welcome to Henry's English channel. My name's Henry and I'll be giving you a lesson today on the writing task. So this particular lesson covers both writing tasks 1 and 2. The lesson will be focused on the band descriptors. And what are the band descriptors? Well, here is a paper, and this is the kind of paper that we use to determine your grade. Up here we have task achievement and response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammatical range and accuracy. And these are mirrored here: task achievement, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy. So on the actual descriptor sheet, the descriptors are broken up into, I will call them sub-descriptors, and we use these to determine your grades. For this lesson, however, I'm just going to be focused on the main descriptors, or the categories, if you like. So let's have a look at task achievement and response. How do we get a good mark in this area? Well, it's called task achievement. That means that you've achieved your task. On writing task 2, it's called task response. It's essentially the same thing. It means that you've achieved your task. So how do you achieve your task? Well, you answer the question. And how do you answer the question? First, you need to understand the question. So firstly, in fact, you need to read the question. You read the question, and then you understand it, and then you plan what is your answer going to be, and then you answer. Now, a lot of students just want to rush through this part of the process. They think, oh, there's that question, I've seen that question before, I know what to answer. Or maybe students have memorized a particular answer that looks very familiar to the question or what the question wants. Don't do this. Don't come into the exam with a prepared answer. It's not going to work. Look, you may get lucky, but it's not going to work. Here we're learning English first and not the test. So the thing is that you need to read the question very carefully. Circle the key words, circle phrases, underline phrases. Make sure you understand if there are any diagrams in the task question. For example, in writing task 1, you'll have a diagram, a graph. Make sure you understand how those words relate to the graph. And this takes a bit of time. It's better to take a bit more time on this and make sure you fully understand the question than to just go straight into it. So you understand, you read, you understand, make sure you understand very carefully. Because the problem is that if you have the wrong idea of the question, and sometimes these questions can be very tricky, they will trick you into thinking they're asking a different question. If you start writing about some other topic that's slightly different from the one that's being asked, your grades will come down significantly. And I'm not just talking about in the task achievement area. When you're answering the wrong question, your grades fall down in all areas, in coherence and cohesion, in lexical resource, which is surprising because this is about vocabulary. Why would it fall down in vocabulary? But it does. Students make more spelling mistakes when they're not answering the correct question. So make sure you understand it very, very carefully. You could maybe even spend at least a minute or two going through this process. Once we've got the plan, it'll be easy to answer the question and you'll answer the question more quickly. So let's have a look at coherence and cohesion. How do you get a good grade in this area? Well, what are coherence and cohesion? Coherence means that the answer that you've given is coherent. That means that we can understand it as examiners. So when we look at your paper, is it understandable? Can I read it? Is it easy to follow? And then we get cohesion. Cohesion is more about logic. And does this answer flow from one idea to the other? Have you got idea 1, idea 2, idea 3? It's all neat. One follows on from the other. Or do you have idea 1, then idea 3, then idea 2, then idea 7? You get the idea. So this is about cohesion, also about linking words. Additionally, therefore, as a result of this, these sort of terms. Now be careful with the linking words. A lot of students use the wrong words in the wrong context. Especially be careful with the word moreover. You don't understand moreover. Many of you don't really understand what that means. So, in terms of coherence and cohesion, once again, you'll have done your plan. So the plan will help you with coherence and cohesion. Now this is one here that I am very particular with as an examiner. I want your papers to be neat and tidy, not messy. Now, teachers are basically of the opinion that it shouldn't matter if a student's paper is messy. But the thing is, the teachers will still unconsciously mark you down if it's difficult to read. Coherent. So the thing is also that if you write a messy paper, what that is a reflection of your thoughts. I'm seeing your thoughts there. If it's messy, I'm seeing your thoughts all over the paper. So I'm very strict about this one, and with my students preparing for their IELTS tests or their ELICOS tests, I have a very strict policy about making sure that students have at least reasonably neat handwriting. Now, if you've got messy handwriting, please try to improve it somewhat. But this is also about those errors that you make on the paper. Did you cross out a word? Was it scribbled through? You know, I see students who have words that are scribbled through, they want to scribble through right through the paper. If you're going to make a correction, you just cross out the word, just one line through the word, and then keep going. I have a policy with my students, especially the ones who have difficulty with this, because this is a big problem with many students, where they're not allowed to make more than 3 corrections on a page. Now, you might think, well, if I need to make a correction, I need to make a correction. The thing is that if I give them this instruction, they're less likely to make any more than 3 mistakes. So it's a psychological trick. You have that limit and you work towards that limit, and amazingly, there are less corrections on your paper. Now, what happens when you become neater and you correct less? Don't use whiteout as well. No corrections at all. So when you're about to write a sentence, you think the sentence through first and then you write it. Now, I will have some more tips on this a bit later on, but you get the idea. So with this, if you have a real problem with neatness and error correcting, then I suggest you practice a lot with writing papers, it could be anything about your family, friends, an overseas trip, where you write and you don't allow yourself to make corrections and you have a focus on neatness. Big one. This one here, it's amazing how many teachers overlook this one. It seems like I'm the only one who focuses on this. I think you can easily improve your grades half a point, maybe even 1 point, just from focusing on neatness. And finally, logical. Now the logical part, that will come with the plan. So if you've got a good structure in mind for your paper, then the logic will follow.